Good morning students. Today I will discuss the topic k-nearest neighbor algorithm in machine learning. K-nearest neighbor algorithm. K-nearest neighbor is one of the simplest machine learning algorithms based on supervised learning technique. kNN algorithm assumes the similarity between the new case and available cases and put the new case into the category that is most similar to the available categories. Now, what are the applications of the kNN? One of the biggest applications of the nearest neighbor search is recommender system. Now, while purchasing in Amazon, you have just noticed that a user on Amazon, you like a particular item, you are recommended with the similar items. kNN algorithm stores all the available data and classifies a new data point based on the similarity measure. Now this means whenever a new data appears, then it can be easily classified into a well category by using kNN algorithm. Now kNN algorithm can be used for regression as well as for the classification, but mostly it is used for classification problems. kNN is a non-parametric algorithm. That means it does not make any assumptions of the underlying data. Now we know that what is non-parametric algorithm. Algorithms that do not make particular assumptions about the kind of the functions are known as non-parametric algorithms. kNN is also called a lazy learner algorithm because it does not learn from the training set immediately, but it just stores the data set and at the time of classification it performs some action on the data set. kNN algorithm at the training phase just stores the data set and whenever it gets a new data, then it classifies that data into a suitable category that is much similar to the new data. Now why do we need kNN algorithm? Now suppose there are two categories, categories A and category B, and we have a new data point x1. So this data point will lie in which of these categories? Now to solve this type of problem, we need a kNN algorithm. With the help of the kNN, we can easily identify the class of a particular data set. How it works? The main aim of the k-nearest neighbor algorithm is to classify a new data point by comparing it to all previously seen data points. The classification of the k most similar previous cases are used for predicting the classification of the current data point. It is very simple algorithm which just stores all the available cases and later it classifies a new cases based on a similarity measure. Now consider the data point here. Here we have taken a two-dimensional data set. Here feature is x1, another feature is x2, and green dots belongs to a particular category A and yellow dots belongs to another category B. Now whenever a new data point blue dot is coming, kNN algorithm just find out the blue dot belongs to which category. How kNN work? The kNN working can be explained on the below algorithm. Now first step is to choose the proper value of k. K value will be determined by the user. Next step is to calculate the distance between all the training point and the new data point. After calculation of the distance, then sort the computed distance in ascending order between training points and the new data points. Fourth step, choose the first k distances from the sorted list. Fifth step, predict the class of the test instance by majority voting if the target attribute is discrete value for classification problem, or we calculate the mean if the target attribute is continuous valued in the case of the regression of the k selected nearest instances. Now suppose we have a new data point and we need to put it in a proper category. Now firstly we will choose the value of the k. How many nearest neighbors we have to take. Here we have take the value of k equal to 5. Next we will calculate the Euclidean distance between the data points. The Euclidean distance is the distance between the two data points. By using the formula we will calculate root over if x1 and y1 is one point, x2 and y2 another point. So the distance between a and b is root over x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now distance matrix can be two types. Manhattan distance can be used as well as Euclidean distance can be used. What is Manhattan distance? The distance between 2 points is the sum of the absolute differences of their Cartesian coordinates. Absolute value you have to take x1 minus x2 plus absolute value you have to take y1 minus y2. By calculating the Euclidean distance, we got the nearest neighbors as 3 nearest neighbors in category A and 2 nearest neighbors in category B in the given example. So the yellow dot will belong to the category A because here in the 5 nearest neighbor, 3 nearest neighbor belong to category A and 2 nearest neighbor belong to category B. So we have to, so the category of yellow dots will be category A. As we can see, the 3 nearest neighbors are from category A, hence this new unknown data point must belong to category A. Now how to select the value of k in the kNN algorithm? Now actually there is no particular way to determine the best value for k. So we need to try some values to find the best out of them. Now the most preferred value for k is 5. If you take very low value for k such as k equal to 1 or k equal to 2 can be noisy and it also lead to the effect of outliers in the model. So it is not good. Large values for k are good but it may find some difficulties. Now by inspecting the data we can easily choose the best value for k. Advantages of kNN algorithm. Now first advantage is that here we require no training period. kNN is called lazy learner. Now it does not learn anything in the training period. Now next advantage, since the kNN algorithm requires no training before making predictions, new data can be added seamlessly which will not impact the accuracy of the algorithm. kNN is very easy to implement. There are only 2 parameters required to implement kNN. The value for k we have to found and the distance function Euclidean or Manhattan. Now the disadvantage of kNN algorithm. Now it always needs to determine the value of k which may be complex sometime. Now the computation cost is very high because of calculating the distance between the data points for all the training samples. Now kNN algorithm does not work well with large data set as calculating distances between each data instance would be very costly. It does not work well with high dimensional data set as this will complicate the distance calculating process to calculate distance for each dimension. It is very sensitive to noisy and missing data also. Feature scaling is also required. Data in all the dimensions should be scaled. properly. Now it is always recommended to always select an odd value of k. We cannot set k is even value. Now when the value of k is set to even, what happened? A situation may arise in which the elements from both the groups are equal. So in this condition, the model would be unable to do the correct classification for you. Here the model will randomly assign any of the two classes to this new unknown data. So we cannot take the value of k as even. So we have to choose the value of k is odd value, because such a state of equality between the two classes would never occur here, due to the fact that one of the two groups would still be in the majority. The value of k is selected as what? Odd. Now from this diagram you can easily understand that if we take even value, suppose k equal to 4, so what happened? Problem will be arises. Okay, it cannot decide the blue dot will belongs to which class, green class or yellow category class. But if we take k value equal to odd, so classification can be easily performed. Now I will explain example using kNN classification algorithm. Now here in this problem, you have to apply kNN classification on the following data set and predict the quality of the paper 5. Having acid durability, it is given 3, and strength equal to given, that is 7, and we have assumed that k equal to 3. Now the data from a survey and objective testing with two attributes can be used to classify whether the quality of the sample paper is good or it is bad. Now see the following table. Here we have taken total 4 instances. In the first instance, the output class is bad. Second instance, output class is bad. Third, output class is good. Fourth instance, output class is good. Now the test instance also given here. Now consider a new sample paper. Now in the new sample paper, what happened? Acid durability value equal to 3 and strength equal to 7. Now without any expensive survey, we have to find out the quality of this new paper by using the kNN classifier. Now step 1. In step 1, just find out the value of the k. K is given by the user and we have to take the appropriate value for k. We have just taken k equal to 3. Next we have to calculate the distance between the query instance and all the training sample. Here query instance is 3,7 and we have to calculate the distance by using the Euclidean distance formula. Now we have already calculated the distance from Euclidean distance to the query instance. Now we have found already the distance. In the first instance, the distance from query point to the data point is 4. In the next case, the distance from query point to the data point equal to 5. In the third instance, the distance between the query point to the data point is 3. In the fourth instance, the distance from the query point to the data point is 3.6. Next, you have to sort the distance and determine the nearest neighbors based on kth minimum distance. Here already we have taken that k value equal to 3. Now the below table shows the sorted distance and according to that nearest neighbor is decided for each paper. Here for first instance what happened? It is included in 3 nearest neighbor. But in the second instance what happened? This data point is not included in the nearest neighbor. Third and fourth also, these data point are included in the 3 nearest neighbor. So we have to consider only the first instance, third and fourth instance, and also we have to check the class for these 3 instances. Now step 4, collect the quality of the nearest neighbors. Hence in the below table, quality for paper 2 is not included because the rank of this paper item is more than 3. So it will be excluded. Now the below table shows the quality of each paper based on the nearest neighbor. For paper 1, the output class is bad. Paper 3, output class is good. Paper 4, output class is good here. Step 5, use the simple majority of the category of nearest neighbors as the prediction value of the query instance. Here it got 2 good and 1 bad value for the quality of nearest neighbors. We have 2 good and 1 bad from the 3 nearest neighbor. The conclusion is that a new sample paper 5 that passes through laboratory test with acid durability equal to 3 and strength equal to 7 is included in good category quality. Now next I will explain another problem using kNN regression algorithm. Now what is kNN regression? kNN regression is the type of instant based learning or non-parametric regression algorithm. It uses the training data to make predictions. It does not learn a model that can be used to make predictions for new data points. The kNN algorithm does not make any assumptions about the training data set. Now in kNN regression, we predict the value of a dependent variable for a data point based on the average or mean value of the target values of its k nearest neighbors in the training data. Now the value of k is a user defined hyperparameter. Just it determines the number of nearest neighbors used to make the predictions. After finding the neighbors, we calculate the value of the dependent variable for the new data point. Now for this, we take the average of the target values of the k nearest neighbors. Now I will now explain one numerical example. Now here data set is given. Here total 15 instances there and 2 feature is given, length and weight, and the output value is cost here. Here for first instance, length equal to 10, weight equal to 15, the cost for this rod is 45 and so on. Here output is continuous valued. It is a regression problem. Here total 15 instances are given. In the above data set, we have total 15 data points. The data set contains the length and weight of the metal rods along with their cost also. Now here new data point is there. We have to calculate the cost for a rod with a length given, that is 7, and a weight given, that is 8. Now for this we will use the following steps. First, we will decide on the value of k. We have take the value of k equal to 3. We have to find out which neighbors are 3, which neighbors. We have to calculate only the 3 nearest neighbor. That will be used to decide the cost of the input data point. Next, we will calculate the distance of the new data point. Here new data point is 7, 8 to all the existing points in the data set. Here we will use the Euclidean distance measure, and after calculating the distance from the query point to the data point, these are the distance given here. Next we have to sort the distances and we have to find the 3 closest point in the data set. Now for this we will sort the points according to their distances from 7, 8. Now after sorting we have this table. Now already in the table for this point 7, 9, some cost is given in the table. For the data point 5, 8, cost value is given in the table. For the data point 9, 7, the cost is also given in the table. Now in the above table you can observe that the 3 points closest to 7, 8 are 7, 9, 5, 8 and 9, 7. Now in the table the cost is already given, that is 33, 30 and 32. Next we have to calculate the cost of a rod with length 7 and weight 8. Now we have to take the average of the above cost. Hence the cost for 7, 8 will be 31.67. Hope student you have understand that kNN algorithm as well as the two numerical problem, one for classification and another from the regression problem. Thank you.